Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is FPL Elma, and today we're going to be going through my Game Week 3 Wildcard draft. And it's a little bit late, but hey, better late than never. So I know most of you have already hit the Wildcard chip already, Game Week 3. I wouldn't say it's a little bit earlier, just say it depends on your team, of course. If you're not happy with your team, just hit the wild card. And yeah, maybe down the line might not be beneficial, maybe it might be beneficial, but it's all team relevant. So before we get into the video, if you're new around here, I'm going to get 100 subscribers before the end of September. So if you're new around here, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you don't miss any content going up on the channel. And without wasting any much time, let's get straight into it. So first, we're going to start off with the goalkeepers and the defenders. So in goal, I've gone for Begovic and Martinez. The reason I've gone for Begovic is he's less owned by the majority of the people in FPL. So as you notice, the people who are more owned when transfers are made, they tend to fall down in price. And Begovic having a low ownership, I just gone for him. But of course, you can go for the likes of Fabianski and of course the Brentford goalkeeper. I just think there's a lot more risk of them falling down in price and they're affecting the squad value. I was going for Begovic, and I've also gone for a 5 million goalkeeper in Martinez. To be honest, I was looking at the 4.5 million goalkeepers, and none of them was really moving me because we have the likes of Sales for Nottingham Forest, but only with the purple patch, and we have Flecken. Uh, Brentford have tough fixtures coming up. We have Henderson, who hasn't looked really good. So yeah, I just think Martinez is the 4.5 million goalkeepers are not each, and that's why I've gone for Martinez for the 5 million. Then we have Konza at 4.5 million, of course, having two defenders in from the same team. It's a little bit difficult, but I think Konza and the fixtures that Aston Villa have coming up are a little bit easy. Of course, if you don't want Konza, the left back who's there at 4 million, because Matikash picked up an injury, or is it right back? Sorry, Matikash picked up an injury, is going to miss a few games. He's also a very good option. I just gone for Konza because he's more nailed on. Then you have Faz at 4.1 million, also a very good pick. I think he got an assist in the last fixture with a goal. 4.1 million, I think, just a cheap enabler. Can just staying on the bench and can be used for rotation here and there. And then we have Louis Dunk. I've gone for him just because 4.5 million, play for Brighton, who have looked really good in their first two fixtures. And of course, he's nailed on. Last season, he played every single game for Brighton. And I'm sure this season is going to do the same unless he picks up an injury. So I've gone for him. Then I've gone for Van de Ven at 4.5 million. Of course, you all know Van de Ven is prone to hamstring injuries because of how fast he runs. So that's something to look out for, but I've gone for him. I think there's no difference between Van de Ven and Poro and Romero. They're all from the first two games. You can tell they're all on the same level. The only advantage that Poro has is, of course, his attacking returns and is usually subbed off early, so the clean sheet might be intact. So that's the only difference. But I think Van de Ven is also a very solid option if Spurs continue to keep clean sheets. And then the final player I've gone for there is Robinson at 4.6 million. If you got him at 4.5 million, happy days. But at 4.6 million, I think still a good option. And Fulham have pretty easy fixtures coming up, and that's why I've gone for him as well. Then, as you can see, the other consideration I was thinking of is Konate. That's the cheapest playing Liverpool defender at the moment. At this moment in time, because you never know, Robertson will get injured, Tsimikas might start. So yeah, that's why I'm going for Konate in there at 5 million. I think those are a very decent option. Of course, there are no attacking returns with him, but I think there's a lot of clean sheet points potential with Liverpool. So that's the defense. Looks pretty solid. Now let's look at the midfield. So now we can move on to the midfield, and as you can see, that's where most of our budget has gone because I've gone for the three premium midfielders, premium FPL players in that midfield area. So we have Saka at 10 million, Still not going up in price, which is surprising. But I think because they have tough fixtures, because they play Brighton and they play Man City and Spurs in the next three fixtures, I think, which I think is tough. But I expect Saka to perform. There might be a cheeky penalty in one of those fixtures, but relatively they are very tough fixtures. And of course, Champions League might be already in the mix between those fixtures, so that's something to look out for. But I think Saka will still perform in some in like maybe the Man City fixture, maybe two out of the three fixtures because they usually outplay Spurs. But we'll have to wait and see. What I've gone for Saka in there. Then we have Smith Rowe at 5.6 million. That's a cheap player who's playing every minute. Of course, he scored in his last game, and I've gone for him just because a cheap player and he's playing every minute. Then we have Mohamed Salah, who started off the season on a high. I think 3 goals from 2 games already. I think he's been playing really, really well, getting assists as well. He just looked really, really sharp, and that's why I've gone for him in the wildcard draft as well. Then you have Rogers at 5.1 million. That performance against Arsenal picked up a lot of attraction for him. He looked really good, looked like a good attacking threat. We don't know whether there'll be output or not, but I think he's a solid player. We all know he's in the last preseason fixture. He managed to score a brace to seal off the season for Aston Villa. So I think he's going to come good, and I hope that he's going to be able to perform in their next fixture. Then we have Palmer finishing off the defense. Chelsea, I think, are playing, at the moment of recording, I think they're playing Servette right now. I think he hasn't started, he's on the bench. I'm not sure if he's come on yet or not. But I think at 10.5 million, I think is a good option. He's on penalties. He looks really sharp in the last fixture against Wolves with providing 3 assists and scoring a goal. So that's why I've gone for him in there. And Chelsea have one of the easiest fixtures coming up. So I think it's also a very decent option. Of course, for the other consideration, you've gone for KDB if you're looking to save some funds here and there. I think KDB is a very good option, but of course, we all know about Pep Roulette. We've been playing FPL for a very, very long time. You know that Pep can change his team at any time that he wants. But I think KDB is going to be playing out of the fixtures before the Champions League, Carabao, and the FA Cup fixtures come rolling up. So yeah, that's something to look out for. But for now, I've gone for KDB as other consideration. So that's the midfield. Now let's look at the forwards. So now let's look at the forwards. Of course, we're going to be having Haaland in there. Haaland starting the season off good. Already scored 4 goals in 2 fixtures. Scored a penalty. Scored a hat trick in against Ipswich. Pretty dominant performance from him, and that's why I've gone for him. He's won the Golden Boot back to back. He's going to be exceptional. I'm so surprised that people did not start with him from game week 1, which is very, very surprising. And it's come back to bite them because he just got a hat trick when people triple captained him. And people captained him as well. So, yeah, 15.1 million, I think, is a very good option and should go for him, of course. Then we have Joe Pedro at 5.5 million. I was debating between him, Welbeck, and Larsen, but I think Wolves have tough fixtures, and Welbeck is always subbed off before the like around the 75th minute and thereabouts. And Joe Pedro looks like he's the one who's going to be playing the full 90 minutes as he did against United and managed to score in the last minute. So that's why I've gone for him over Welbeck, but it was a very tight decision. But I think Joe Pedro is just a better option for that. Well, he's been playing every fixture and is still on penalties as well. I don't know how that's going to be since Milner is in the team at the moment. But I think he's still going to be on penalties. Then finishing off the team is Jebison, of course, just a bench enabler at 4.5 million. He's made 2 appearances coming off the bench for Bournemouth. So you never know. Maybe if Evan Nilsson picks up an injury, he might be the starter for Bournemouth. So that's why I've gone for him in there. Then the other consideration that I've been thinking of is Moon is at 6.1 million, as I've mentioned, for Robinson and Smith Rowe, who are already in the team. That the fixtures coming up for Fulham are quite easy on paper. So I think it's also a very decent option. Not that the season really well, but I think it's going to come good during the season as the season progresses. So that's the forward line. Looks like a pretty solid wildcard team. So let me show you how I'd line up in game week 3 if I was going for this wildcard. So this is how I'd line up. We'll have Martinez in goal against Leicester. I think for potential for clean sheet in that fixture. Then you have Van de Ven, Robinson, and Konza as the defense. I'm also sure what the clean sheet for Spurs, but let's expect Fulham and Aston Villa to keep a clean sheet. Then you have Saka, Smith Rowe, Salah, Rogers, and Palmer. Maybe Salah playing tough fixture United, but United looked so vulnerable against Brighton. So you never know what might happen. So Palace have looked a bit shaky in defense. We're losing Anderson. So I think Palmer is a very decent option. Rogers, if he continues the form against Arsenal, I'm sure he's going to get attacking returns in that fixture against Leicester. Same as Smith Rowe. Then Saka, Brighton looked very good defensively, but they let in some couple of opportunities here and there, and I'm sure that Arsenal will capitalize more than United did. So I expect a good game from Saka. Then Haaland is just going to do Haaland things, maybe another hat trick. Joe Pedro, tough fixture against Arsenal, but I think they might score. That's why I've gone for him in there. And then on the bench, you have Begovic, Faz, Dunk, and Jemison finishing off the team. So that's the wildcard team. Let me know in the comments if you're using your wildcards and if you're using your wildcards, how your teams are looking. Like, have you gone for a lot of premiums? Let me know down in the comments. And if you want to talk, I'm usually active on Instagram. Link down in the description. And with that, I'd like to thank you all guys for watching. If you managed to reach this far, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. And I'll see you all guys later. Bye bye.